Hey YouTube, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a substance called Phenibut. And it might actually be pronounced Phenibut, or even maybe a little bit different. I'm not exactly sure, but since I like saying but, we'll just call it Phenibut. But before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to ask you to please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Now, when I do videos like this, I just want to emphasize the fact that I am not a doctor. I am just sharing some information with you from personal research and experience that I have with it. And, with strong warnings, of course, as we will get into in the video. And I'm not a doctor. And when you have a little bit of information on something, sometimes it's just enough to be dangerous. So I am not a doctor. As always, do your own research and make sure because if I leave this video posted, the laws or regulations or anything could change. So always make sure that that stuff is up to date. This is just a very, very basic video with just what I want to share with you. Have any of you ever seen the movie Limitless? It's a pretty good movie. What if a pill could make you rich and powerful, it says. So the movie is Bradley Cooper. I believe he's from the A Team. And two-time Oscar winner Robert De Niro. They star in this provocative and action-packed thriller. Eddie Morak Cooper, a burnt-out writer, discovers a top-secret pill that unlocks 100% of his brain's capacity. He instantly acquires mind-bending talents and mesmerizing visions that bring him big money, beautiful women, and limitless success. But his dream life soon becomes a waking nightmare as the drug's brutal side effects take their toll, and Eddie finds himself entangled with a cunning Wall Street power broker, played by De Niro, who wants everything Eddie has and more. That's a pretty good movie. So, of course, the movie is fiction, but does something like that actually exist in real life that would kind of fit that criteria? I would contend that yes, there does. And here in the United States of America, you don't even need a prescription, nor can you get a prescription to order it from the mail because it's not recognized by the Food and Drug Administration. It was being sold for a long time as a dietary supplement, and I believe recently they changed some regulations on that to where it's no longer allowed to be sold as a dietary supplement. So I think they just changed all the packaging. It's a little bit harder to get than it used to be, but you can still get it online. I think it's like the packages are labeled research purposes, not for human consumption. Um, so, so if you want to do research on it or test it, you can get it online. So, Phenibut is chemically known as biphenyl gamma aminobutyric acid. Did you notice the words gamma aminobutyric acid in the name? Some of you might recognize an actual dietary supplement that you can get at natural supplement shops and natural grocery stores is a supplement called GABA. So that's because the key chemical nature of Phenibut, it's a derivative of the naturally occurring GABA neurotransmitters in our brain, which are stimulated by things such as alcohol, benzodiazepines, and it's actually naturally occurring within our body. Our brain makes GABA. So it means that Phenibut, even though Phenibut is a synthetic kind of version of it, they have very similar chemical compositions and structures. So that means that where GABA naturally binds to the GABA receptors in our brain and body, Phenibut can also bind there to a very high extent, and it produces very similar effects in the body. And unlike the GABA supplements that you can get at a lot of like even natural grocery stores. The supplement does not cross the blood-brain barrier, but Phenibut does, so you can actually feel it, and quite powerfully. So the brand name of Phenibut is Nufen. Um, it's is or was, or now research purposes maybe, it's available in most countries, and it's intended to relieve social anxiety. The drug was originally produced in Russia, and it's used as a medication there today for several psychological conditions, and including anxiety. So it was first manufactured in the USSR in the 1960s and was designed to be a staple part of the medical kit of the cosmonauts, the astronauts that they would send into space. Because the drug was to lower the cosmonauts' levels of stress without making a huge impact on their performance. And because it binds to the same receptors as like a benzodiazepine or alcohol, it has those anxiety relieving properties, but rather than impair your abilities and fine motor skills, it actually enhances them for most people. And so you're sharper, you're more articulate, you have zero anxiety, you're a social butterfly. It's almost like it seems like it's a dream come true for a lot of people who struggle with anxiety and they start to take it. It can actually enhance your performance levels, and so it left them less drowsy, and of course didn't quite impair them, which would make them, that would defeat the purpose of going into space and doing whatever it is that they do up there. So a lot of people will use it as a like a nootropic, like a, a brain boost. Use it to go on a date, take a test, social situation, something to relieve anxiety. And it works extremely, extremely well, and a person will get probably the best sleep that they've ever had in their life that night, and even continue on into the next day after taking it for what's called the afterglow. And the second day, some people actually like the way it feels on the second day even better than the first. So it's a pretty long-lasting um, drug when you take it, because it is a drug and is actually a medication, like I said, in Russia. So there's a catch, however, and a strong warning that I want to give. I would put this in a wet paint do not touch category. I have tried it before, years ago, long before I ever realized that I was autistic, and long before I realized that because of my autism, and this is for me personally, some autistic people drink beer and I don't know, they seem to be fine with it. Me, however, even just one evening of drinking will cause me to have anxiety for days after. I must have a weak GABA system or something. It throws my senses into overdrive. So it's no fun. So I just stay away from anything that affects the GABA system. I just let my brain do what it's going to do naturally. So, and of course, everybody's different. Not everybody's going to get addicted to something as fast or another. Some people don't get, addicted to things where others do. So this is just real loose. They say that, anything that deals with GABA, such as alcohol, benzodiazepines, and in this case, Phenibut, the GABA system is kind of like, I would describe it as kind of like the tachometer on a car goes, it keeps it from revving too high. And kind of, one of the most tightly regulated systems in our body. So when you put an outside supplement into it that deals with GABA, that crosses the blood-brain barrier, natural GABA, I don't think people seem to have too many problems with it, according to what I know. But again, do your own research. But anything that crosses the blood-brain barrier that works with the GABA systems, eventually your brain's like, oh, this is this is great. Okay, we'll stop producing our own GABA, and we're relying on an outside source, and this is cool, and we'll just go ahead and drastically reduce our use, our manufacture of it. And when a person stops or adjusts their dose lower significantly, it takes a little while for the message to get back to the brain. All right, guys, it's time to start pump up the GABA. People have anxiety, panic attacks, things like that. And a lot of people will start taking, Phenibut, uh, or alcohol or benzos for that matter. And it's like, you know what? I take it for anxiety, and I notice that when I don't take it, my anxiety is even worse. It's because you have the rebound anxiety, which is a mild form of withdrawal, all the way to full blown withdrawal when you take it. So a lot of people end up taking that stuff to relieve the anxiety that they're actually making worse in the first place by doing that, even though while they're on it, it makes them feel really good. Well, an estimation for a person to possibly get dependent on benzodiazepines to some extent to where there might be some withdrawal would be, in my opinion, uh, weeks, weeks to a month. Whereas with Phenibut, it interacts so strongly with the GABA receptors that some people have gotten dependent on it in a matter of days to weeks, which is why they recommend not taking it 2 days in a row. Some people get away with taking it 2 days in a row, but I mean, it's like if a person has extremely, extremely very good self control, I would not recommend doing it more than twice a month because you are playing with fire. And the recovery from something like that isn't days to weeks, it's weeks to months with post acute withdrawal symptoms, sometimes lasting years. And some people even have something that happens to them. Even some of the medications that we have, I could be wrong, but I think they're antipsychotics, certain ones. But there's certainly some medications that can cause neuroleptic malignant syndrome, which is something that Phenibut can also cause, that can happen up to 10 to 30 days later. I actually know a person who was playing with Phenibut and liked it, took it a little bit too long, and he quit. He had withdrawal, everything. The floor didn't fall out from him until day 10. All of a sudden, his neck got stiff. He was just, the room was spinning. He didn't feel good and was panicking, in a state of panic. And these panic attacks, what seemed to be panic attacks, but what we think, we don't know for sure, was probably symptoms of neuroleptic malignant syndrome, came, but it mimicked a severe panic attack. Severe. Came and went. Started on day 10, came and went for 3 years whenever they wanted. So some people might be able to withdraw from it, but some people have more of that long-term post-acute withdrawal syndrome. And where it just seems to, Phenibut just really seems to get a person dependent on it very, very, very quickly, even quicker than traditional benzodiazepines. Even though when a person takes it, it seems so, you're enhanced, you're feeling better, you're getting things done, you're like living your dreams, everything's great, you're at the gym, you're social, you're never social, but you're social this time. It really, really works fantastic, but it comes with that huge, dangerous catch that can really mess up your life for a period of time. I cannot stress the warnings enough, which is why I put this, in the category of I thought that it was something that I wanted to share about after interacting with one of our viewers in the comment section on another video. So I said, wouldn't that be a good idea? Because when I was doing my kratom video, they let me know that, yeah, be careful with kratom and also Phenibut. I said, absolutely, I should do a video on Phenibut. So this is a video that I have on Phenibut. And so, yeah, a lot of people order it online because in the United States of America, I mean, to simply possess it, or I mean, even to acquire it, isn't, the Food and Drug Administration does not recognize it as a medication. So it's kind of neither legal nor illegal. It exists in a gray area, and so what are they going to do about it? It's so. I mean, it's I don't know if there's any places that have done like emergency scheduling or in any counties or stuff, but for the most part, people can order it pretty easy online, and a lot of people have gotten themselves into serious what they call Phenibut hell. And so, just like the movie Limitless, what seems like it's too good to be true absolutely is, because it comes with a huge catch and a huge danger. And the withdrawals happen fast and they can happen very severely. So if a person has huge amounts of self control, maybe they could take it for a day, maybe they could take it for 2 days, maybe they could take it twice a month. But when something is that powerful and that effective, and what seems to you as so benign, it's like having all of the effects of, it's having all the social lubrication, all the kind of positive, feelings and stuff. It's like being on alcohol but without being impaired. And it's it's just one of those things, and because it seems so benign, it's actually very dangerous stuff. So I just wanted to let you know that that exists, and I wanted to issue that stern warning about it. And of course, this video will probably be up for a while, and so as things change, laws could change or whatever. So and I could, I know just a little bit about it, probably just enough to be dangerous. My advice is good, but always do your own research, because I am not a doctor. I'm just a guy that you know likes to share things that I have learned, and so I definitely um, tried it a few times, many years ago, and wisely did not get dependent on it. And but not many people are unlucky, and it is a slippery little booger. And a lot of people, if you go online and you look up like Phenibut withdrawal, people, there are threads about the warnings, and some people say, "Oh, it's great," "Oh, it's not going to hurt me." It can happen fast, and it's really painful to get off of. So, with my hands being the way that they've been, with all numb and painful and stuff, doctors don't know if it's carpal tunnel or if it's a slipped disc hitting nerve roots in my spine. They really don't have an appointment till this summer, so they keep sending me home with numb hands and painful hands. Um, I communicate better in writing than I do just kind of off the cuff, because I can go this way and that way, and I'm always forgetting to say something, which is my point. So if there's something else that I think of that I want to say later, I'll drop it in the comments below. And if there's anything that you want to share, please, as always, drop it in the comments below. So thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, people, and I advise you to stay away from Phenibut, but if you don't, be warned, be very careful. I'm serious.